Sage Forsaken here, and today we're talking about dioramas, or figure bases, or whatever you want to call it. This channel really got birthed because I was interested in action figures, and the rebirth of my love of action figures actually started partly due because I wanted to make custom action figures of Destiny. I was really big into the game, and I played it with my stepfather a lot, so I made him this after I started making custom action figures. And the base is made from actual pottery clay, fired in a kiln. Basically, I thought that this was really cool for its time. Obviously, I feel like I could do a lot better now. But at the same time, I did find a way to make something that my stepfather still displays to this day. And I don't think if I'd just given him a figure in a box, if he would care as much about it. To keep it in the living room and all that stuff over at his house. Anyway, I wanted to make Destiny figures, and that's what led me to wanting to make a gift for my stepfather, since that was really a game we shared. So that's where the idea of starting to make figure bases or dioramas started at. But of course, that's not where it ended. I recently got into what's called kit bashing, scratch bashing, whatever you want to call it. And I really decided that this would be a great way to make use of a lot of the junk that I've collected over the years. I tend to go to the Goodwill outlets, and you buy stuff by the pound, and essentially it's like less than $2 a pound for plastics and stuff like that. So I find broken toys and random toy parts that nobody's using, and I just glue them to stuff. I glue stuff to stuff. That's what I do. Now, when I'm doing that, what is interesting is that if you hit it all with a coarse spray paint, it does start to get a very uniform look to it. And even just like this, when I glued stuff to stuff, I use two glues. I always use a fast glue like a super glue or a hot glue, and a strong glue like an E6000, since the parts won't always match up when you're just gluing stuff to stuff. So it looks really good for space figures in general. But really turned out really good when I made this astronaut figure from my core figure in an Imaginext helmet. It turned out really good because I could jam his arm and stuff in places, or have him hold on to stuff, and it could look like he was literally floating like in space. And it'd be really hard to do this without a diorama. You'd have to have some sort of figure stand, a flight stand, or something of that nature. And it really just wouldn't look natural. And if you were working in space, you would be holding on to stuff. But that wasn't the original intent of this diorama. I did want to make a hangar bay for mechs and things of that nature. So basically, I have started working on that. I did repaint it more of a dirty, grungy look, because, most sci-fi, unless you're in Starfleet, is going to be grungy and dirty. Well, so I'm really interested in that. And, I got the idea from scratch building, but also I tried it with other stuff in the past. I tried it here in wood, using a bunch of wood shapes and cutting wood using my Dremel tool and things, and I just spray painted it all on. And some of you might know where we're going here, but this is basically a diorama for a friend that collects Transformers. I grunged it up real good so that essentially it would look like a dirty crashed spaceship instead of like a sleek state-of-the-art type thing. And then, of course, the only thing to add at that point is some figure and get some good shots. Well, luckily I had a friend who could take a good picture, unlike me. And from there, it was just a matter of, setting it. And I really thought this turned out well. There's definitely stuff I would change if I were to do it again. But, for something thrown together as a gift, I thought it turned out really good. And in fact, I'm going to be making this person something else later, but I lucked into what I'd scratch bashed into to make the last diorama, and I was looking for something to make another diorama out of, and I found these crazy gears, toy set, both at the Goodwill, and of course I bought a couple offline because they're really kind of cheap, but they go together, and I was able to pretty much make walls and everything with it. I did have to do a lot of fabrication and cut some edges and everything, but this is how I made my XMen diorama, my Danger Room diorama. And what I've found is that a lot of dioramas turn out like crap. And you probably won't see those, but it's a matter of what you like and what you're looking for. Obviously, I'm not saying this is the end-all be-all. I will probably still improve, and these will probably look like junk compared to stuff I do in the future. But I really like being able to kind of have these scenes and these ways to display my customs and things like that, especially to build these little worlds that you can put on a shelf. And this is Sage Forsaken signing off. like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, pour on the plastic.